Yo, my people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
And here we go again, fellas. Ready to rock and roll. So we just had a brief meeting pre-show. You know what I'm saying? So we've been vibing for a minute now. Let's jump right into it, fellas. Bell, you said you wanted to hit him with the mission.
Yeah, because what I'm realizing, ladies and gentlemen, so first of all, shout out to us. We've been doing this for 4 years now. We didn't even celebrate that this year, which is cool. I'm just saying we've been doing it for 4 years. And
that's dope.
And I think I'll speak for myself. I think we just get so used to coming on here, quite frankly, for our benefit, right? Just getting some stuff off, helping each other through whatever, that sometimes we forget that there's other people listening. If I'm being honest, like I think a lot of times this is kind of about us.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so going forward, I'm going to make sure I restate our mission every single time we record, because this is why we started. So for those who don't know, we started our podcast back in 2020 after the execution of George Floyd. And we did that because essentially we were looking for a safe space for people who look like us to openly engage in conversations surrounding their mental health. Because previously there hasn't necessarily been a lot of light shined on men's mental health in general, and then forget about Black men's health or men from historically marginalized populations. It's just not space for that. So that's why we created this. And that's where we are. So we're 4 years in, 30 episodes, give or take, 162 countries. And that's where we are. So shout out to you guys.
Shout out to y'all. Shout out to all the different or the non-Black men who tap in with us. And there is an array of different type of people who support our podcast, who listen and grow from it. I think that's super, super dope. It's all Black Men Need Therapy. We happen to be Black. You know what I'm saying? And we care about our people, but it's not like we're not saying that other people don't need it. So those of you who have tapped in and have learned and grown from us, salute to y'all. For real, for real. Per you, let's start our episode with our check-ins, man. Bell, go ahead, check in, go first.
I'm good, man. I got some not greatest news from my doctor. I got a slight tear in my meniscus, which is why that's why my knee been swelling up. So I don't need surgery or nothing like that. But he said, I will have to rehab it. He didn't tell me to stop running, but he told me, dial it back. So I start rehab on Wednesday next week. And then my plan is to not run for a month to just see what happens. I may do some Peloton, activate my Peloton. Definitely gonna be doing some lifting due to the rehab. But that's not great. But at least I know now. Like I knew what was up with it, or now I know what's up with it, and then I can move on. Work is super busy, man. Like I ain't gonna hold you. Like when I first got into this role, I'm like, man, it ain't a lot to do in this role, and I do okay, and I don't have a lot to do. But now I see why. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like there was a lull, and then everything just picked up. So I'm super busy doing a lot of traveling coming up. Went to a super dope event on Tuesday. Shout out to the Aspen Challenge. Chief and I got invited. Well, we all got invited, but Chief and I are just local. We got invited to their kickoff. The host city for next year is Boston and San Diego. So I live in Boston. So I pulled up to the Quinn House, super fancy spot. And it was dope. It was really, really cool. Chief pulled up. Chief had some adversity. I let him get into that, but it was cool. The wife pulled up with me. It was nice, a real nice event. Met some good people. I don't get out the house much, man. I don't be doing no networking, so that was a real good way for me to get out, meet some folks in Boston. Met some really cool people. We got a shout out there as one of the challengers from this year. Not to be too long on my check-in, but I realized something about myself, man. I realized there's a lot of things that I do that I haven't always done. And if I had not had somebody help me to fix that, I wouldn't be doing it today. But I say that because sometimes I forget when I give somebody feedback on the things that I'm now doing that they're not doing. I realize that had I not intentionally tried to do that, I would have never changed. So I say that to say, I'm probably gonna reserve. I'm going to do better at more listening compared to consulting or suggesting, because I think sometimes for me that gets in the way of that person's progress. So I'm gonna just start doing more listening and asking more questions. Um, yeah, that's my check-in. Other than that, I think it's great. I'll be in.
Where did that come from?
Well, I was talking to D Glass today. Shout out to D, and it just we hadn't seen each other in a while, and we finally saw each other. And we were just talking, and he's talking to me about some of the people we know that are close to him, closer to him than to me, but people I care about nonetheless. And we were just talking about different things, and I'm just like, because he mentioned it. He's like, man, that's why I don't even try to help anymore. I just listen. And I'm like, you know what? Because sometimes what happens is I get more invested in somebody's growth than they may be in their own. And the phrase that came up while we were talking, D and I was like, people need to participate in their own rescue. An analogy I gave, which I've given countless times on this podcast, is the fastest way to get somebody to help you push your car after you broke down on the highway is you start pushing it first yourself. And then when I said that to him, it like a light bulb went off. He's like, yo, you're right. He's like, if I seen somebody pushing their car by themselves, I would naturally just want to help them, compared to somebody just waiting on the side of the road for somebody to come help them push it. And I think when I jump in sometimes, I'm the only one pushing. And it's not even my car to push. So therefore, it's not even my place. But I think it's because I know the benefits of getting that car to the gas station. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, once you get this car to the gas station, you're going to be straight. So like I start doing some of the work, and not necessarily, I shouldn't say the work. I don't do the work. I suggest the work. But what I'm going to start doing is asking them what work they think is required, and then going from there. So sometimes I don't know my own psychological size and things outside of work. So that's just a realization I had. That's all.
So I asked that because you did that to me the other day, and
What?
That exactly what you just said. Like you caught yourself in the middle, like, you know what? Never mind. I'm just gonna listen. And I'm like, but when you said that, I feel like you're talking about me. Also,
go ahead.
I feel like you're. So when I was thinking about the treatments, most of my treatments are derived from something predominantly something that I not necessarily maybe going through, but just desire to know or learn more about myself in regards to that matter. I think Prentice, the same thing, from what he's going through, what he's experienced, or what he's feeling. And I think your treatments are based on what you think we need. When we go through the episodes,
so you think I'm writing treatments with y'all in mind specifically?
Yes. However,
that's pretty rich. But
maybe I'm just thinking about it because he and I are abundantly more vulnerable on the podcast than you are. And I think from the last episode, and again, it was my treatment and I had a lot of digging I had to do in that one, but it's always myself or Prentice on the hot seat. Always.
Put me on the hot seat, bro. I'm not opposed to it.
No, but what I'm saying is I just.
Or okay, I think I see where you're going with this. Keep going. Are you saying that my treatments are not necessarily about things I'm trying to work on myself?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Because again, Pete, think about it. In our episodes, when they go down, one of us ends up on the hot seat. And it's almost like.
Can I make a glaring parallel?
Go ahead.
Who are the only two people on here that don't go to therapy?
I have gone. I got to get a new one.
Okay.
I've been going.
Well, you haven't been in months.
True.
And even when you did go, it was only 3 sessions.
With this one, with the new one, when I got the new one, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just again, fact-based leadership, right?
Yeah, but how it comes across differently though. Like
I'm here for
fact-based leadership almost feels like y'all the niggas with the problems.
Listen, I will take whatever feedback you guys give me here.
But you don't.
Can tell you on it. Okay, let me finish first. Let me finish. I can tell you unequivocally, my treatments are not about you two.
Okay.
Period. Like that. My treatments, what derives my treatments is literally what I'm feeling. So like my notebook's downstairs. The treatment I wrote yesterday. Yo, stop doing that. You're hitting the thing.
Yeah, we can
hear my bad. My bad.
My treatment I wrote yesterday, I was in the middle of something, and I'm like, yo, I'm really on it right now. Like in terms of locked in on what I'm trying to get accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote down real quick so I didn't forget. How do you know when you're working hard? Because that was the epiphany that came to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, boom. Let me revisit that. Because then now that's introspective work for me. Like, how do I know when I'm working hard? And what do I need to do to maintain this level of work ethic? So now that's just me getting more curious. So the questions I have down for the treatment are really questions that I want to answer aloud. So like I'm speaking, this was yesterday. Like I'm speaking specifically for that. And the treatment that we're going to go through today, I'm like, based on the statistics I'm going to go over, I'm like, yo, why don't more people go? Like that, like, and I'm just curious. Like I promise you, it has nothing to do with y'all. Now, when I ask, and again, bro, the last week was your treatment. Like I didn't write that. You wrote that. So like what I'm saying is you're on the hot seat, not because I put you there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like my treatments don't put you on the hot seat. If they do, tell me.
No. I don't. The thing is, I don't mind being on the hot seat because I'm genuinely here trying to grow and do and be better.
So but I do not.
No, I'm not saying you're not. What I'm saying is, a moment ago you said something about receiving the feedback, but I remember episode a little while ago, and I think I sent you the text message about how somebody responded to how you responded when I told you how I was feeling. I don't even remember what it was. But I remember telling you how I was feeling a certain way.
I vaguely remember. Vaguely, it was about me being on you. And I think I owned up to that I was, or I may have been on you too much. But again, you talk about not receiving the feedback. What did you just say? The other day, you just said I was telling you something, Bell, and you started to say something. You said, never mind. Is that not listening to the feedback?
It is. However, you pointed the finger at me for being dismissive or feeling dismissed
Okay.
based on how I responded. And that's kind of how I felt in the same moment.
But I didn't dismiss anything you said. I just didn't offer anything more.
That wasn't the way it came across in the conversation.
Well, two things. One, I told you I wasn't going to give you any more advice when it came to certain things anymore. I told you that when we recorded live in Connecticut at the golf country club. And I don't know what that was about, but whatever. I remember what you're talking about. I don't remember what the subject was. But again, bro, it's like two things. One, I realized that about myself, that I may be a little overzealous with things that I now do that I may not have done before. And I'm overzealous because I know the benefits that can come from for that individual once they flip that switch. That's one. Two, the advice specifically, like I said at the country club, as it pertains to your renovations, you totally blatantly ignored. So for me, it's like, why am I going to keep wasting my time? So those two things combined, it does not make sense for me to keep talking about it. So, and I'm pretty sure that's what I was talking about, because you were talking about moving upstairs. And I was about to go with some ideas, but I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
And again, listen, Prentice, you're objective in this, right? Like, so if there's something I'm missing right now, help me understand. But I'm open to feedback. Like, if there's something there's a glaring example of me listening to the feedback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Then falling back
I'm
as a
not really
result.
a participant in this. Like, this is Chief's opinion. I'm listening to y'all talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. No, I appreciate that. But what I'm saying is, if you hear something, because I can't, I'm talking, so I don't know necessarily how it's coming off. So if you feel like
You're talking
at
about
any
in the
point,
moment.
yeah, like at any point, anything I'm saying, if I'm being dismissive or I'm not owning something, like
Yeah,
I can tell you guys, I'm not making treatments for y'all. Like that's,
Yeah, no,
it's not all about you, Chief. Just so you know.
And again, that's probably, and part of that is why. So remember how we talked about how, like, in many cases, I can't help but take things personal. And then I'm like, is this worth bringing up? Let me process how I feel about this first and really see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of time I avoid, but I don't have the conversation because I'm like, yeah, nigga, you just wild. Unless you're being way too sensitive or too, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at that first. But when you mention that, like when you talk about that, like I hear you talking to me about that.
Yeah. You ever hear the saying, a hit dog will holler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, P? It seemed like for some reason that shit struck you personally. I didn't get. I don't feel that way at all. Like, I know I be on the hot seat because my shit need to be, and this is my therapy until I fucking go to therapy. So for me, this is serving its purpose. Like, I ain't got no problem with my shit. I mean, I ain't got to talk about it if I don't want to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
That's a fact.
so like for me, I think we have different, and I think that's a valid point when he said that, who the two niggas that don't go to therapy. So there may be shit that he's not as compelled to express because he may already have. You know what I mean? And I'd imagine that if there was certain shit that I was going to a therapist about, it may not be like a dominant thought in my head to talk about with y'all. But since I don't, everything is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like this is your therapy.
No,
But
literally.
yeah.
So I think that's a factor. Are we going to check-ins or are we still talking about
Wait,
this
no,
shit?
before we get into check-in.
So maybe it's a sense of confliction too for me, because I think because the nature or a lot of, I get it so often from you, and then when you, I guess, turn it off, it feels, the vibe feels different.
Yeah, and that's weird because the irony listening to this conversation is that he just brought up listening, like shutting up and listening. Basically, I'm gonna shut up and listen more. And then you're like, yeah, I feel like we on the hot seat. And he's like, but I literally just said that, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shut up and listen. And it seems like something about that triggered you, because you seem upset. Like just looking at you and listening to you, it's like you seem something about that silence bothers you. And this kind of reminds me of like the last conversation we had, like when things switch up, maybe you internalize it a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Rather than seeing how the newness is going to unfold. You know
I
what I'm
think
saying? Like
that's very accurate.
Yep.
rather than seeing how it's going to work out, immediately him saying that had you like, I feel like me and P be on the hot seat. I'm like, wait, nigga, what? Wait, I
Yeah,
ain't
but it
know.
wasn't. It wasn't more about you. It
No, I
was.
get that. I get that. I get that. It just seemed like something about that triggered you, and you did in a different way what you be doing sometimes when you internalize it immediately. You know what I mean? But I think like the flip side to that is just like we were talking about last time, how you don't speak on shit. You'll be like, oh, never mind. From the space of conflict, you did speak on it just now. So and damn, it's making me think about the conversation. It's that balance, right? Like you got to have some of this and you got to have some of that, but you got to find that sweet spot. So I think this may be part of you. This may be part of you like exercising that shit that we was talking about last week. This may be part of you like speaking up in a moment about how you feel about some shit, but still gonna have to kind of figure out when and how and when not to take it as personal. Cause something about that sounds like you took it personal.
Yeah, I think I need to sit with it some more before we go into it.
And
But
it's only with me, I feel like. Because I remember one time I said something that was after the show. I don't remember what the text was. I can find it. I literally asked a question, and Chief's response was, I feel like you don't care. I'm like, what about that text made you feel like I didn't care? Like,
Mhm.
it was a literal question.
That's internalization of it. That's I think that's the part you got to figure out. And not we're not putting you on the hot seat, but I'm just saying in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Like when nobody else understands, and then we react to some shit. I think that's a cue sometimes when we gotta look at ourselves when everybody else is like clueless. You know what I'm saying? Like when we, because I do that shit sometimes. I'll say some shit and everybody's like, "Wait, where's this fucking coming from?" Like
Right.
that wasn't my nothing. Then I'm like, "Damn, I'm on an island with this shit." Like they don't even. And then I gotta
Mm.
go inside and figure that shit out. Versus somebody being like, "Oh, I can see what you're saying. That's not what I meant." Versus like, "What the fuck?"
I
It's
think
part of the
this,
work.
and you tell me, Chief, did this come from when we spoke earlier today? And what I said to him, Prentice, I said, we all have a theme with the treatments that we
no,
write.
no, no, no.
Well, just so you know, Prentice, what I was
Right.
talking to him about earlier, because I had to put the treatment into our treatment folder, and I
Mhm.
was just scrolling through, and I was like, "Damn, we kind of all got a theme." I'm like, "Your theme, Prentice, is about emotions, love, like questioning, like
Relationships.
reactions, relationships, like all of
Mhm.
that stuff. Like that's your theme, like in or about." Chief's theme is communication. Like I was telling him, I was like, you literally had multiple treatments in here with the same title. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So clearly there's something about that he wants to convey. And my theme is like leadership, like mindset,
Mhm.
um, like shit like that. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where like how you think about things. You know what I mean? It's kind of where a lot of my shit comes from. So I just found it interesting. It wasn't there's no there's nothing to quantify that. I just thought it was interesting.
I think not. This is nothing related, but I'm doubling back to the conversation. I think it feels like I, what just came to me is like he's like it felt like my friend is giving up on me.
You do that sometimes though when shit switches. That's
I think
part of
because that
that's
just hit me just now.
yeah, that's part of how you are. Remember we had that one conversation. And I think it was around over like when you said like I feel like you don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a
I don't know
thing
what
for
that was
you.
about
That's
at
but
all.
that's a thing for you. You talk about it a lot like you want to keep your friends close and you value these relationships. You don't want them to change. I'm not saying you don't at all. This is a more general statement. Sometimes we gotta let both people work at the same time, right? Like, so while you're processing your shit, he got to try something new with whatever it is that he's going on, and then you got to find that new medium, that new spot, because both of y'all are working on two different things, and they can be perceived differently depending on what the other one is going through. You know what I'm saying? But that's your shit, man. Like, you don't want your relationships to sever or to change, even in the midst of them needing to change or feeling like they need to change. Just the altering of what you're used to throws you off. You know what I'm saying?
Could
It's
be.
like a nigga with it can be like, like, I mean, lack of a better analogy, like autistic kids. Like, I used to teach autistic children. They have very set routines. And if you throw off one thing about that routine, whether it's not packing them a certain item in their food, it fucks up their whole lunch.
This
You know
nigga
what
P
I'm
just
saying?
told me I'm on the spectrum.
I couldn't think of another analogy, man, but I mean, it reminds me of that shit. I think little things like that be throwing you off sometimes when it comes to your relationships because you care about the motherfuckers.
But let's just address the cutting you off thing. I'll speak specifically around renovations or whatnot. Would I be wrong?
What's the question? Would you be wrong for what?
He said he feels like it's me giving up on him. Sorry, not cutting you off. That the words you use were giving up on you. And what
Oh,
I said,
specifically, I get it.
yes, specifically around that, because that's what I specifically said at the I keep wanting to call it a reservation at the country club, that I wasn't going to give you any more feedback on. Would I be wrong if I didn't?
Good question.
No. And I've never said anything to you about that. I'm telling you I didn't like the way it sounded.
But semantics, right? It's the act of me not giving you any more of my opinions, because that's all it was on what you should do in that regard. So it's like, if it's not wrong for me to cut you off, then you understand. Not saying that it doesn't. It does. I'm not saying that it's not supposed to feel bad. I'm just saying, put yourself in my shoes. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, like, literally 2 years of conversation, and you almost did the opposite of everything I said.
It's like smoking weed and having somebody in your life who's constantly trying to get you to stop smoking. And every time you light up around them, they're like, "Hey, but like, you may really want to chill with that shit." And then one day you light up and they just don't say shit, and you like, "Hey, my nigga, you giving up on me not smoking?" It's like, "Hey, my nigga, I didn't said this shit for like 2 years. You
Mm-hmm.
clearly gonna keep smoking."
Gotcha.
I ain't like how you said that shit.
Right. But it's like, I didn't like how you ignored me. You know what I'm saying? For the last, like, I'm not going to keep, like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like, I got some pride too. You know what I
That makes
mean?
sense. That's fair.
Like, it's like, I'm not about to keep repeating myself, wasting my time. Where the analogy I gave at the country club was like, yo, there's people that will pay for this information. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and I'm giving it to you because I love you and I want to see you successful, and you ignore it. So
Did it
it's like,
bother you when he said that shit at the country club when we was courting?
No.
What is it about now then?
it's a good question.
It wasn't necessarily. It's not. It was the context in which how it was delivered in the conversation. It rubbed me the wrong way.
But it's not something that you were surprised by, or was it? I don't know.
No.
How was it delivered that bothered you? Because I remember.
No, he's
No, this was
talking
we
about.
had he and I had a conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just because I basically what happened was he was talking because he's obviously almost done with his renovations in his place. He was gonna rent that out, move upstairs, and he was just kind of walking me through his thought process. And then I was about to do what I always do. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you can just do this, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying, boom, boom, do that. And I was like,
I'm gonna shut up.
yeah, or you could, I was like, actually, I'm not even gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was the conversation.
All right, I get it.
You know what I mean? So yeah. Like me starting and stopping probably made it worse. Whereas if I just didn't say nothing, like, I'm sure that made it worse. You know. But we're still on the check-in, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm the only one who's checked in so far.
P, you
Nah,
want
you check in,
30
nigga.
minutes?
You go.
Yo, so if I'm being honest, yo, I like the kids are super, bro. Super, like great reports at school. Mia got all A's. The boys are, I mean, Major's a genius, so he's got all A's. Stormy's a puppy, so nothing there. But Mia's got all A's and got an 89. One class, her lowest grade is an 89. Yo, if you can get 89, you get a 90, shorty. Like, get your shit together.
That's one route to go.
Yeah, the boy. Yeah, I told her the difference between 89 and 90 is attitude. Teacher don't like you. That's why they gave you a B plus instead of A minus. So, like, figure it out. Like, he loves me a little. Tell him to change the grade then.
Yeah.
But yo, I was talking to Reese today. Actually, shout out to Reese. She sent me an episode of her podcast, and I
Oh, I didn't know she had one.
Yeah, it's Discourse and Chill. It was about peace versus freedom. And I was just basically telling her, like, yo, like, I'm in this space right now, fellas, and I can't really describe it. Like, I am not depressed. But I'm not what I say. I said I'm down. I'm not depressed, but I'm not up.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
I was talking to Oz the other day. I said, one thing that we gonna do is we gonna tell you what we not. We might not be able to tell you what we are, but we gonna tell you what we not.
Yeah. So I'm not. Shout out to Oz. I saw Oz about an hour ago. Yeah. So I'm in this weird space, fellas, where I'm like, it ain't. I know what the depression felt like, and I'm not there, but I'm not like up.
Yeah, but be careful. Hopefully, you never feel that type of depression again. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a very high bar now for depression. Yeah. Doesn't mean if it doesn't meet this, you're not depressed. And I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying understand that it's a sliding scale, bro. Like,
yeah. So I don't really, if I'm being like, I can't like put a word on it. I think maybe stressed. I'm definitely stressed, but like I'm not up, and it's weird how I feel.
Do you think? I got a question for you. Do you think the Grammy run being over has anything to do with it?
Like coming down from the high of the work?
Yeah, coming down from the work and the high. Because I went through that. I went through when we were done. When that shit was done, I didn't have the same like vigor every fucking morning. I didn't have that hunger and that one thing I was focused on for 16 months. It was as soon as voting was over, it was gone. And then I just had to wait to hear from it. But I couldn't go outside. I was still smoking. I couldn't go outside and smoke and come up with whatever the plan was going to be for this week or that day.
So I don't think that. I mean, I think I did feel like a little lull, but I'm not. I don't think that's it because I'm like, after having continuous conversations with Bell and connecting with Stu, like I'm working my plan to get up out this school. Like I'm working my plan right now. So like, regardless of the Grammys, like the plan is to take these next 365 days and bust a fucking move. Stop playing.
Yeah, so, I don't mean like that's the dominant reason, but that could be a contributing factor. Having something that gave you like an adrenaline rush and then it's gone. You know what I mean? And that can contribute to you feeling a little down.
Let's call it what it is, though. You're in a scary place. I'm not saying you're scared. I'm saying you're in a scary place. Think about it, right? You just went from arguably, I'm not saying it's a fact, arguably the one moment in your life that you dedicated an intentional plan to your craft. An intentional plan. Followed it. From that leads into an intentional plan to leave a 20-year career. Right? That's a scary place, bro. Because here's the reality, Chief. What if you do it? Mm-hmm. What if it works exactly how you want it to work? Then what? You know what I'm saying?
What if it don't? Because that's a thought in your head too. You know, it can be. It can be like, shit.
Yeah.
I'm already putting this in motion. What if it do? What if it don't? You know what I mean? Like, that's a great point, man. You in between.
Yeah.
And you're in transition, like real transition, my nigga.
Yeah, and think about all the transitions, right? You got like think about a financial transition, right? Your tenant's gone now. They've been there for 9 years. Like so that's money that's no longer coming in. So now you making other moves to make up for that. So that's a transition. Then you got to transition from a spoken word artist to a potentially Grammy nominated artist, right? That's a transition. Then you got, okay, well, shit, I got to start taking heed of what everybody's saying. Let me get up out of here. That's a transition. Then, to mention, on the back of your mind, I'm sure somewhere, you got a whole certificate that would allow you to be a principal that you may or may not be doing anything with. Like, that's on the back of your mind. Like, so you're juggling a lot, bro. It's like, where do you go? Right? Then you got the podcast. We got opportunities happening with the podcast. So you got a lot of shit going on. Like it's something to be said about your status quo being disrupted. And that's just where you are. And I'm not saying you're depressed. I'm saying you're in a scary place.
But you're
in the place of unknown.
Yeah, and I think in hearing all this, like you start to stack all that stuff together, and because it's been our nature, like it's just like, oh, it's part of the norm. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But the thing would be the dopeness in it would be if you were able to identify that you were slightly depressed. If that was the case, it would be dope to identify. It's even dope to admit that you're down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, 100%, 100%.
To acknowledge, like,
so
I'm not up right now.
I didn't. This feeling overcame me maybe like a couple days ago.
Yeah, but
I just didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, it's okay. First and foremost, right? Like it's okay. But what I'm saying is that feeling just didn't come over you. It just revealed itself. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's what spearheaded it though.
But this is our problem. This is our problem. You know how we said the other day on that last call, our last recording, that he was like, "Bell, when was the last time we argued?" And I was like, "We probably should have." This is that. This is that. This is you kicking the can down the road, like we talked about. So now it walked up on you because there's been no acknowledgement of it or no way to deal with it. Like the thing about you, Chief, that Prentice and I have that you don't, unfortunately, is a governor. Like we have wives. So our if you had a significant other, they would be able to see this in you before you would see it in yourself. You may ignore it, you may dismiss it potentially, just like, nah, that's not me. But then once it finally walked up on you, it'd be like, that's what she was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like you are so trained to go that you don't leave room to recognize what's happening until there's no room left. You see what I'm saying? So that's when it walks up on you. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying you're depressed, but what I am saying is you are in a transition and there's naturally emotions and feelings that come along with that you may not have paused or sat down long enough to sit with. That's all I'm saying. And that may be depression. It may just be you're having a rough week. It may be, you need to have a drink, all right, for the third time in your life. Like, I don't know. But what I'm saying is don't ignore that shit and don't dismiss it as not depression because you, quite frankly, don't know. It could be because you don't know what it is. So if you don't know what it is, you can't say what it's not.
Especially while being in a new space.
Yeah.
Transition, but this transition ain't some shit that you've done before. You're leaving. I didn't even realize that 20 years, my nigga. 20 years.
21.
Duh. That's a long time, bro. That's a long time, man.
And listen, bro. All depression don't look like it did when it did. You know what I mean? Like I went through it when I stopped running. When I felt like I couldn't run no more because not run no more, but I had to slow down running. I may have said on the podcast, like, yo, I'm off, man. I'm off. And it's because I haven't been able to run. Because that's a part of me. Like you may be, I don't know. You may be wrestling with the idea that these 21 years may no longer be a part of you, bro. That shit's tough. I'm telling you, I was only at the high school for 3 school years. And when I had to resign, that was one of the scariest moments of my life. because I'm like, oh, it's on me now.
Mhm.
So you can check in
Okay.
whenever you're ready.
that was my check-in, man. I'm down and I ain't up, but I ain't depressed.
Yeah, again, man, you know who we need to get on the call? We probably need to bring back Therapy Thursdays. That's another avenue for us to get more
Yeah,
outreach.
yeah, for sure. P, 40 minutes into the episode, check it. We might as well just go ahead and ride this wave. Ain't gonna be
Oh
no
My
no,
episode.
it's actually it's funny because the treatment is kind of fitting, but we'll see where it goes.
yeah, we ain't getting to that shit.
Yeah.
We ain't getting to
P,
the episode, man.
let's talk about some shit on your spirit, man, and see if we can, you know what I
Well,
mean,
let's
double back
celebrate
on
your
that.
progress, bro. Pilates P has gotten it rocking over there.
Word. P's out
Yeah,
here
we moving, man.
working
We
16-hour
moving.
days.
Yeah, bro. So my Wednesdays are crazy. My Wednesdays, the studio is 5 minutes away from the house, which is cool. It's right down the street. But I'm up. My first class is at 5:30. I'm teaching from 5:30 to like 10:30, and then doing two more classes in the afternoon. They're going really, really well, man. I'm exhausted. I was in New York the last couple of days. Shout
Oh
out
yeah,
to
talk about that, man.
yeah, man. So my new watching y'all, watching you, Chief, and watching, a couple of other homies going for the Grammys, and me sitting back and not going for it had me like thinking like, okay, so what am I gonna do next? And I don't want to do the same thing twice, at least not right now, right? So I was like, yo, I wanna, like poetry just don't feel like enough for me. The stage, the poetry arena just it feel too small for me. So I was like, I want to tap back into my theater roots. So I was like, I want to get on Broadway. How can I get on Broadway? I'm gonna write a one man show. So I wrote a 60-minute one man show, and I was like, all right, how can I figure this shit out? Just like I tried to figure out the Grammy shit. So I tapped in with Aaron Walton. He is
Shout
my
out to
family
Aaron.
at this point. Shout out to Aaron, man. So y'all don't know, he owns Walton Isaacson, which is one of the top advertisement agencies in the world. They are also the creators of Verses and Flow, which Chief and I were on. I did 6 seasons on. He's also responsible for getting me into copywriting. He's also the president of this theater group called the Tectonic Theater Group. Shout out to them. So they had me come out because they had a gala, and that gala consists of 5 performances. I was one of the performances. All of them are Broadway artists, other than me. A bunch of different writers, producers, and directors who cultivate and create plays that land on Broadway. So it was an opportunity for me to showcase a portion of what I wrote, and performed it on stage to kind of get direct access into this theater world. So I just cut out all the middlemen and just got to perform in front of everybody I would need to perform in who could assist me in accomplishing this goal, man. So I did that, man, and I worked that room with the ultimate confidence, man. And I was just really happy. I was like proud of myself for how I worked it. Like I was proud. I didn't sit in the corner after I performed and waited for them to come to me. One of the people on the board, she lives 15 minutes from me. We gonna connect. Another one lives in San Francisco. We're gonna connect. You know what I mean? So it was a really amazing opportunity for me to get in front of people from theater, and that's my where I first started. Cultivating being on stage, man. So that was really cool. Came home again, had to teach the next morning at 5:30 in the morning. So I haven't got no sleep. Kids are straight. Soraya's straight. Halloween's coming up. I just bought Tahir's costume before we got on and recorded today, so he'll be good for tomorrow. Um, my sciatic nerve is way better, man. So I can
Oh, I
get back
forgot
into
about
the
that.
yeah. That shit was killing me for almost 2 months, man. So I really couldn't do a lot physically.
P,
What'd you do to fix it?
remind me to put you on. I got a tip on how to like address some of that sciatica stuff. So
Okay, it's
might help
it's
you out.
way better. Yeah, it's way better now. So I got into the gym 2 days ago. I'm back in the reformer in the Pilates class, man. I feel like I got a little bit of direction. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I'm proud of myself right now. Like I think that's what it is. Like I'm proud of like myself on some non-poetry shit.
That's
Like
what's up.
on some like I know a couple weeks ago I told y'all that I was, backing away, not backing away, but it just I wasn't making the poetry a priority anymore. I want to live and experience life and not just throw all my eggs into that basket, man. So I feel like by having this mindset, I'm starting to like focus my effort elsewhere. Like this Pilates shit is really popping. Like I'm really good at this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm actually really good, and Sarai is fucking a guru at this shit already. So I'm looking at the potential of that for her and I as a married couple, as being black, and what we can do and how we can expose this to our community. People are responding really well to us at the Pilates studio, to me. I got her guidance, so that's cool. So I find myself now being able to put my skill set in an area that I'm totally unfamiliar with that's going to challenge me because I got to learn this shit. You know what I mean? Like, and it's forever learning. Like, you got to continue to learn. It's not like you can do the same thing over and over. It's like poetry sets. Like you see these people all the time. So it's not like we can do it our sets. You know what I mean? We could do the same set here, then go to Toronto, do it, go wherever. But you got to switch up the poems every 2 to 3 days so they don't get tired of hearing the same shit essentially. So it's forcing me to kind of dig in a different bag, man. So I'm proud of the direction I'm going. There still needs to be more work, but I don't feel in this check-in like just trying to figure it out, like trying to figure it out. Like I got a little bit more direction. So I feel good about that, man. Yeah. So I'm solid. I'm in motion. Some shit gonna happen, you
That's
know.
fine. And how is it like a super dope feeling to just be able to? I know you guys obviously live together, but like, is it cool to be working side by side with your lady? Like, how cool is that?
Nigga, it's amazing. I'd fucking live in her skin if I could. And so the crazy thing, and I'll tell you this, when I first we went to lunch, bro, a couple months ago, and I told her how I think I really wanted to get into Pilates, and it created a very emotional discussion because at the time she was still coming into her own within the Pilates, and the idea of me now stepping into it had her kind of feeling like maybe she wouldn't have her own thing. And rather than me listening to her, I got really offended. I got really offended and I got upset and I got teary eyed because in my mind, I had this whole vision on what we could do and what we could create, not realizing that she got to have her own shit and not realizing that my desire to like be with her even more now may not necessarily be what she wanted. And
Mm.
she had to tell me that that's not what I want. And I didn't know how to take that at that lunch. Like I'll never fucking go back to that sushi spot just because of this conversation. But it made me upset, bro. Like my eyes was watering. I may have shed a tear too on the nigga. I was upset. It hurt my feelings because in my mind I had glorified what it could be, and then here she goes like, "That's not why I'm doing this or what I'm looking for." And it hurt my feelings, but it also gave me a profound amount of respect for her because she could have went along with it. You know what I mean? She could have, like fanned the flame a little bit, knowing that's not what she wanted, and she didn't. She told me that that's not what she was trying to do. She wanted this to be her thing. The cool thing is, like 3 weeks ago, she doubled back and she was like, "You know what? When we initially had that conversation, um, I wasn't in the right space, and I don't think I saw your vision, but I totally see it now." You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool to hear her come back. And I mean, I was happy and shit that day. I was, skipping. I was happy. Like, yeah. I was like, fuck that sushi spot still, but I'm glad you came around because I see it. But it's hella dope, but like it's
Yeah, but the thing that I heard is her own identity.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I heard. Like whether
Mm-hmm.
she intended it that way or not, because again, I think maybe not. Maybe I'm way off, but in this particular sense, Prentice, you have psychological size, right? Like you're a world renowned poet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got your thing.
Yep.
That's
That's
your
what she
thing.
said. Yep.
And
That's what
it's
she
like for
said.
her, it's like, oh, I found my lane. And then here you
Mm-hmm.
come. Oh, we're gonna do this together.
That's exactly what she said at lunch. That's
You know what I'm
exactly in the
saying?
very sweetest way, but that's
Yeah.
what she said. And then so it was an ego bruise, you know what I mean? Like it was an
Mhm.
ego check too, because I'm like, I would never try to step on your toes. I would never try to take your light. I would never, and so it hurt my feelings and it made me sad and it made me angry. And then I had to check my anger because I was like, fuck, who am I to get angry at her, be mad at her honesty and her ability to
Exactly.
tell me that. That's not easy to tell your partner.
No, it's not, man. And kudos to her because clearly she made her mind up what direction she wanted to go. And then
Yep.
when you stepped in, it kind of like the fuck, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? But Chief, like that's what I'm talking about from our last conversation when we were talking about that text exchange you have and you wasn't able to see her way because she couldn't see your way. Like that's a prime example where Prentice, he was absolutely hurt, but he understood like it's not my place to be hurt right now because this is her coming to me with her concerns about what I did. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, for sure.
Like Sarai was going down a path and then Prentice jumped on the path. And then she's like, nah, this is not what I envisioned.
Yeah.
But it took her a couple of days and she's like,
weeks.
right. Weeks. And she's like, all right, well, let's talk about like what this could look like for us. You know what I mean? Like, so
And
again,
I didn't realize either how she would bring up Pilates and then I'd find some way to make it about my interest in it. And that's what sparked it at the table. She was talking about it and I was like, yeah, I think I could really see myself getting into this, man. Like this is gonna be, and not even,
and that's genuine. That's genuine. It's not like you. Yeah,
I'm trying to be a part of her world.
Yeah, I get it.
The reason why I started doing it is because I wanted to immerse myself more in her shit, and then lo and behold, I discovered some shit I really like, and then lo and behold, I start talking about it. But I had to recognize, like, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody needs their own identity, and as much as I want this to be about us, I had to shut up the rest of the lunch and the day. Like I was quiet all day into the next day, and I had to sit in that discomfort because I knew I couldn't pop off and get hella angry, but I wanted to. You know what I mean?
But that's real, man. Like that's probably some of the realest shit you've uttered, specifically about a relationship and yours. That's really dope.
I want to shout you, P, because Bell's acknowledging the growth too, and I want to acknowledge the growth in it, and most importantly, just you being able to be an example of identifying your feelings. You said in order, it hurt my feelings, it made me sad, I was hella angry.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, it would have been I'm hella angry, lash out, down. But I'm saying for real, am I wrong? Hella, even with men, it'd have been I'm hella angry. Yeah. I'm angry, lash out. Oh, but I wasn't really angry. I was sad. My feelings were hurt, which is but anger is how I translated that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's super, super dope that you led with it hurt my feelings, it made me sad, and I was angry. You know what I'm saying? I think that's significant for
it was weird,
for men to hear.
I shed some tears at the table, and it was weird because I was lying with myself to like shit. I was crying, like I wasn't, but like I shed some tears because it really, really hurt my feelings. But like it burst my whole ass vision bubble, and then training was coming up, and I was like, I don't even want to go to fucking training. I was like, I'm not even like fuck this shit. And then I went to training, and even after we did the training in the beginning of September, I didn't study because I was still in my feelings. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't lash out at her, so it's kind of like I was punishing myself in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I went to training because
sabotaging.
Yeah, it's already paid for, but my vision isn't her vision. So, you know, I did the training, but I'm not gonna study so that I could pass the national test out. And then fucking around, she was pushing me to study so I could pass the test out. I'm like, she's fucking wonderful, man. Like, how the fuck are you the one pushing me to do this shit? And this all stems from you wanting your independence, man. So, it definitely is a change now that I think about it. Because I shed some tears when we was eating lunch, man, and I allowed myself to be emotional in front of her. And before I wouldn't have did that, I would have been angry, and the tears would have came. It would have been angry tears instead of like my feelings are hurt tears. And I was like, well, there ain't nothing I can do about it, you know. So I'm gonna just be quiet. But yeah, I thank you, because that is growth. I definitely would have.
Oh, 100%, man, 100%. I mean, even personal growth, and that's why I said relationship growth, man, because it's easy to play a victim in that role, like very easy to play a victim in that role. But I guess if the shoe was on the other foot, you got to think about it. Like Sarai's like, yeah, P, we can rock the stage together. We can do a 2-man show. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
whoa,
yeah,
whoa. Yeah. You don't think about that. You don't realize how sometimes like what you do, how it can impact other people you care about. You know what I mean? Like there was a stint during COVID where she really was bummed out because she was in between careers and I had this poetry thing popping and she just felt like she didn't have a thing of her own and she felt
Mm-hmm.
like she didn't want to be known as Prentice's wife and
Yep.
shit I never think about. You know, here I am wanting her to come to all my shows and lo and behold, she doesn't like some of these conversations people have with her for her own reasons that are very valid and reasonable that I'm not thinking about and considering. I think I'm just immersing her into my world, bringing her with me, and it's just kind of like accentuating the fact that she feels like she didn't have her own thing in that time, man. So that shit is interesting, but you know, relationships are interesting. To what Bell was saying about you, I think that's a great point. Talking about how we do have wives, because again, Chief, you don't have that check. Your kids ain't gonna give it to you. They're not gonna give you that emotional reality check or just that reality check that a lot of us need, bud. So you're going through this shit a lot on your own without that woman to hold your hand, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? So you got to
Call
give
it what
yourself
it is. Yeah.
grace, bud, because yeah, that is what it is. They're
Yeah.
holding our hand
Yeah.
and babying us while they do it, whether we choose to admit it or not. It may not come across like that, but the support from a woman, man, there's nothing like it, and we may even take it for granted. I'm gonna have to think about that shit after you said that, Bill.
That's a good point. It's funny, man, because we sensitive as fuck when it comes to them too. I'll give you another example. So the other day, um, I ate late, so I'm like, I put Chase down. I'm like, all right, Low went to bed. I'm like, all right, we going to just chill in the room together and just get some quality time. I was like, I'm gonna eat my dinner in the room. I walked in the room with my plate, and she's like, no, get that out of here. That I don't like the way that smells. I don't want that smelling up the room. And I'm like, damn, like I'm eating this in here to spend more time with, and I didn't say this, but this is what I internalized. I mean, I'm coming in here to spend more time with you, and you just dismiss me. You just kick me out. So I'm like, man, fuck this, man. I'm about to eat this in this kitchen. I'm staying up all night. You know what I'm saying? I ain't coming. I ain't going to bed. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
it's like she don't like that's
proving a
not her.
point to nobody, bud, but
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, man.
Nobody.
Like
And
it
so
don't make
with you,
no
bud,
sense.
like you're having these moments, but with you, you'll have these moments and feel away, but it's you versus you, which is
Yes,
even more fucked up. At least
yes,
we got a target. We got a
right.
target to misplace the emotions and shit, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
got that right now. So you gotta be kind to yourself, my nigga. And if you feel like you're down, that's even more reason to look into it because nobody else is there to necessarily encourage. You got us, obviously, but nobody's there to get you to kind of maybe look further into that downness right now. And if you're gonna identify anything, it's now while you're down. You don't necessarily have to even do anything about it, but if you can possibly identify the possible whys, nigga, that's gonna go a long way eventually when it comes to like correcting them and fixing them whenever that time's meant to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's good because you always be like, I'm good. Every check-in, you be like, I'm good, kids are good, I'm good. It's like, nigga, no, you not.
Not.
And so I
Yeah.
know you not because today you were like, I am not depressed.
Yo,
No, but my thing is, I've never been like not to. If I'm, for the most part, I'll be chilling. But when I'm feeling a certain way in this moment, so I'm telling you how I'm feeling. I haven't
That's
ducked this shit.
progress, though.
I have not
That's
ducked this shit. I promise you, I haven't.
you
that's
haven't, but
progress.
all I'm saying is, oh, not all I'm saying because I didn't say anything yet. What I'll say is, I know from the moment you get on camera how this conversation is going to go. Just so you know, I could tell from the moment we hopped on. I was like, oh, this nigga's off.
Mm,
He's off.
mm,
I didn't know what was happening, but
mm.
I'm like, he's off. I could
That's why I was
tell.
quiet the first 20 minutes. I'm
Yeah,
letting y'all niggas talk. I was like,
like you're
oh,
not low. Like we can see it.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying you didn't plan on speaking about it. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, like, it's visible now, which
Mm-hmm.
means it didn't just happen today.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been around for a minute. And what I'll also say, listen, man, I got a therapist for you if you want to go to my girl.
I have one. I have one.
When you going?
We working on that.
This nigga
Word up.
always talk about
No,
going,
word
but
up.
don't go.
Prentice, better turn your fucking camera off, nigga. You talking about fucking play with me?
How the fuck you gonna have an all black men need therapy podcast
Nah,
and you talking
I
about
have
you
a
working on it?
I actually got 2 numbers that I gotta reach out to. I'm gonna do it.
You can go to whoever you want to go to. Here's what I'll tell you. My therapist, she's gotten a lot of referrals from us, and they all have not left. They all go with her. They're still with her. So that's couples, that's individuals, everything. So it's open to you if you want, because you can't get on her schedule. The only way you can get on her schedule is if I put a call in for you. So if you want it, I can make the call. You don't have to worry about her ghosting you. You don't. But
I'll have some more information by the next time we record. So if I don't tell you good news, then yeah.
So what are you waiting for on them right now?
Because the last one I got, and I got 2 more numbers, it's never reached out. Nigga, I mean, my days, I don't get home till 9:30 every night, bro.
So this is a case in point. What's stopping you from saying, well, yeah, Bell, set it up. I'll have a conversation with her. You don't have wait. You don't have anything tangible in the works other than names and numbers. I'm telling you, I have a proven resource that I've been going to for like 9 years. Everybody who I've sent to her, they have not switched therapists. And your response was, with no real leads, your response was, I'll let you know how this works out and get back to you.
Yeah, because I sent out an email to one of them. I'm gonna double up tomorrow. And then
this is what I'm saying, Chief. This is what I'm saying. You're about to do all this work when I'm telling you I have somebody that's really good. And you're not even willing to say, I'll have a conversation with her. That's what I'm talking about. That right there. That's why I don't give you. I'm getting emotional now. This shit really bothers me. That's why I don't give you any more fucking feedback. That's why I don't give you any more advice. Because of that right there. So don't tell me I'm giving up on you. You're giving up on yourself, because every time I tell you something, you don't listen. That's what I'm talking about.
It's not that I'm not listening, bro.
Okay.
I hear you.
Nah, move on. Next topic.
Can I want to do it on my own though?
How's that working for you?
In what regard?
This specific regard. When's the last time you've been to a therapist?
Probably 3 months ago.
3 months. So how's that working? You just said you may or may not be depressed. And I'm telling you, I got somebody that you can't book on your own. The only way you can book is if I call her. And you're like, I'll let you know what happens. And that's why I don't give you advice anymore.
I think it's something about pulling the trigger.
No, that's definitely not it. I'm not it's not like I'm afraid of therapists or going to therapy.
Yeah, I know. But why not? Why? I think what he's saying is like, why not say, okay, set it up? Just that simple. That's the question. Why not say, okay, set it up right now, and do whatever you're gonna do, make whatever phone calls. But why not? Why not literally say, okay, Bill, set it up?
Because in my head, I'm like, let me give it a shot and see if I can connect it, and then if it don't work out, I'll have Bell contact his lady. That was
why can't you do it all at the same time?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Like, it's not like you got to commit to anybody. You have a conversation, but this is your MO. This is your MO, and this is why it's infuriating to me. Like, I've given you literally cannot book her. You can't. Like, you can go to her website all you want. You can't get on her calendar. So that should say something to you. She's that good. And I'm telling you, I can make a call and probably get you on there.
Make the call, Bell.
I don't even want to make the call now. I'm not making.
He'll make the call later. He's mad right now, but I get it. You said make the call. It's progress, but I'm here to be the in between right now. You said make the call. Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. This is a real ass combo. This shit got real hella quick.
That's what I'm talking about, though. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I don't give you any more advice, bro. That right there. Just call it giving up on you. Call it whatever you want. But that is a real time example
of me wanting to figure it out on my own.
you need this is my thing about that. You're figuring something out on your own to get help from somebody else. So why not just take the help as immediate as it can come if the whole purpose is to receive help and not do it on your own?
And I heard that, and I'm listening to y'all, and I conceded, and was like, "Yo,
Do,
set it
do
up."
you not remember that episode? Why do we take the path of most resistance?
Mm-hmm.
Another case in point. Like, why do we make it so hard? Like, why do we make this so hard? You're trying to figure. Why do you listen, bro? I don't want to figure nothing out on my own. That's the reality. I don't want to figure it out on my own. If somebody's there to help me, I want to take it. I don't want to figure it out on my own. There's no honor or excuse me. There's no extra badges or stripes I'm gonna get for figuring out on my own. If somebody can help me get there faster, that's what I want to do. I don't want to try to figure it out on my own and stumble and get rejected and do all of this when somebody be like, nah, man, just do it this way. It's proven. This is proven. Right? All you got to do is walk the path that's already been paved. Nah. I'm gonna dig my own path. I got my axe and my pitchfork. I'm gonna dig my own path. All right, bro. Let me know how that's gonna work out for you. Right? And that's what I'm saying. It's not like you're with the therapist and things and you're thriving. You haven't seen anybody. And it's like, but whatever. Maybe I'm crazy, right? Maybe I'm bugging. That could be me, right? You said you want to reflect and do some internal work. Maybe I need to do some internal. Maybe I'm bugging. Maybe I'm the problem. That could be it too. So I
But don't
won't put
fucking
that on.
gaslight me, bro.
I'm
Don't
not
do that.
gaslighting you.
Don't
I'm
do that
just
though.
telling you.
Don't fucking do that
He,
though.
I don't think
I,
he. I don't think he's gaslighting, but
I'm saying
I'm
I
not.
could be the problem. I'm
I'm
being honest. I could
yeah.
be. Look,
I think it's
so
an emotional
I'm
topic because
I'm gonna
niggas
fall
care.
back.
Niggas care. This shit happens when niggas care. I think it's that simple. Niggas don't get to this point where they don't care. It's that point, and I can see how you're taking it as gaslighting because I could totally understand how for you, Chief, how fucking uncomfortable this shit is right now. I could I could understand that, my nigga. And I can understand for Bell how frustrating this may be right now. Because y'all got a whole life fucking time of memories and fucking stories and all this shit that I be listening to all the fucking time. So I can understand. I think both of you are valid in your emotions. I think the bottom line is though, it's all being done to receive help. So at the end of the day, whether niggas argue, whether niggas get mad, whether niggas say don't fucking gaslight me, whether niggas say I'm the fucking problem, take the fucking help. Because that's where the growth is gonna come in. And this shit is not easy right now because you're already down.
I hear you. Did I not just concede to it? I
You
heard what
did.
I listened to
You
everything
did.
y'all said. I ate the
Yeah,
bullet. I fucking ate the I ate the
you
bullet.
did, bro.
And
You did. I'm not taking nothing away from none of you. I'm saying I could both understand how both of y'all feel right now. That's what I'm saying. This shit got real. This shit got real than the motherfucker. Like
so
I'm looking at y'all niggas. I'm like, shit,
so
do I wrap this motherfucker
so
up?
wait,
Well,
wait. So
got a
what's the topic of the
hotline.
episode?
Huh?
So what's the topic of the episode?
Niggas arguing.
Don't gaslight me.
we never got the fucking to the treatment.
We never
Well,
got this treatment.
that's one more in the kitty then.
And this shit got realer than any episode we done ever. That was a real ass moment just now. Like y'all listening, like, go on YouTube and look at this nigga's Bell's face when he was talking. If you are wondering how much sincerity was here, like niggas love each other, but that shit is, woo, yeah.
This
I'm
nigga
trying
tried
to
to play.
lighten this
This
shit because
nigga
I'm
tried to be the
lightweight. Like,
peacemaker and
damn, y'all
shit. Here,
niggas.
this nigga.
Yeah, he we need something. We need some type of intervention. So I
Yeah,
appreciate you,
yeah.
Prentice.
I'm trying
I
to provide
appreciate
it
you.
right now because that shit was real, but it all come from the space of love. This is real shit, man.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
I'm
This
good.
shit is real. What's the
Makes
hotline,
sense.
Chief? What's the hotline number, bud? Give me the hotline number.
We ain't even got to. That shit come after the final thoughts, B.
Bro, I'm scared of y'all
He's
niggas'
saying you
final
might need to
thoughts.
no.
Yeah, tap into the P. Give your final thought, B.
All right, my final thought. I don't even know what the fuck my final thought is because I ain't never seen this nigga Bell that bad. I can only imagine that nigga on the football field. That nigga's probably hot. Um, my final thought is that, hey man, be mindful of where you place your energy and be able to recognize that love comes in moments of conflict too. That's my thought. Love comes in the form of conflict as well, and if you're really tapped in with people, you can understand that even in moments of conflict. And I applaud both of y'all for that moment, because niggas can emotionally go somewhere else or take it too far, and y'all still didn't. Bell shut the fuck up, Chief shut the fuck up, and y'all niggas just feel away because y'all love each other. And niggas can't always do that. Niggas have a propensity to take that shit one more step further and say that one thing. And it was about to come with the "don't fucking gaslight me." Bell could have been like, "Nigga, you don't," blah, blah, but he didn't. Like, he shut up. So I salute y'all niggas, and that shit threw me off. So I don't know what the fuck my real final thought is. All right, I'm done.
Bell
I'm
head,
ready
go
to
with
hear
your,
y'all. What's who next?
Bell head, go with your final thought.
Yo, man, listen. Just participate in your own rescue. That's my final thought, man. Participate in your own rescue. Don't be too cool for school.
Bitch, if you talking to me, then say you talking to me.
No,
Yo, this is
nigga,
what I'm
come,
saying.
nigga.
Yo, you
Oh,
need to go speak to somebody, my guy. Like,
nigga.
because everything I say can't be about you. Like, I understand I'm my own person with my own experience. Like, everything I say can't be about you. You might be depressed. Now, I said that just now to gaslight you. So I hope it was received well.
That didn't even bother me.
Yeah.
That wasn't even the one. Like, that
So,
shit didn't even come
like,
across
that's what
like
I'm
that.
saying. Like, yo, it's not all about you. Like, I don't make my episodes, damn sure not my final thoughts, because of you. Like, you got some shit you need to work through. Don't put that on me. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, before I was really interrupted, participate in your own rescue. Okay. Participate in your own rescue. Don't be too cool for school. Um, the path of most resistance is labeled that for a reason. Like, if somebody can show you an easier way, don't be afraid to explore it.
Mm.
Like, there's mentors, there's professionals, there's experts for a reason. Like, there's people who have done the work already to make things easier for you. So don't feel like the only way you can measure success is through gritting it out and finding out on your own. Like, you can listen to somebody and allow them to make your road smoother so you can then make it smoother for somebody else. That's my final thought.
For me, a couple of different things. I wrote down a bunch of fucking notes. I was writing half the episode. But I think the first thing would be get yourself a corner of solid people who care to invest in you. And get out of your own way sometimes. And if you're feeling some type of way, don't ignore it. You don't always have to be able to put a name on it, give it a label, but recognize you're what I say, I was not up. Recognize you're not up. And then continue the process until you can kind of figure it out, but don't ignore it. And Bell, I love you. And Prentice, I love you. And I don't know, man. I'm in a space right now, and we gonna be all right.
Yeah.
I'm all right. I love you too, bro.
Fuck
Yeah, I
you.
love you too, bud.
Hey y'all, we got a voice line. 860-410-6160. I'm gonna text my damn self tonight. And this our voice line, 860-410-6160. Call us, text us, and share your thoughts with us.
Recommend some therapists. Chief is currently interviewing therapists, so if you have some recommendations, don't send them to me first. Send them directly to him.
We can be reached at allblackmediatherapy@gmail.com for the consensus, or you can hit us up individually, Chief, Bell, or Prentice at ABMNT.com. And hit the website, ABMNT.com. We got some merch up there. Go
Subscribe.
ahead and get you something. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to be posting stuff. Oh, we got a new thing we're going to be doing, y'all. We're going to be doing I guess, daily affirmations, morning welcomes. I'm not sure what we want to call it yet, but starting November 1st, we're going to start sending out morning greetings to everybody just to kind of put you in good spirits, give you something to think about. I don't know. We haven't really decided how we want to work it out yet, but starting November 1st, we're going to be hitting y'all every morning on every morning at I don't know what we're going to say, 7 o'clock ish, fellas. It'd be, on the way to work, maybe 8 o'clock on the 7 o'clock in the morning. Every morning they're gonna come out on the YouTube, on Instagram, and via the podcast audio stream. So be on the lookout for it. Just something to kind of help you start your day off on the right foot, or give you something to think about. With that being said, this has been a doozy. Continue to tap in with us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And do us all a favor, hug a black man today.
Y'all two niggas need to hug each other. Do
it. And tomorrow.
Get in your motherfucking car. What do y'all drive to the other person's house and do it?
We out, y'all.
Peace.